Hey there, beer fans. I got a somewhat rare Lawson's beer here. It's called the Space in Between. I think they've only shipped this down here once or twice, or maybe 3 times. And it's a 5% alcohol, basically New England Pale Ale. They call this Undefined Ale on Untapped. It's called an Other Ale. I actually had this from a bomber bottle almost 2 years ago. It was the first Lawson's beer I had that was actually brewed at Lawson's, because Sip of Sunshine is not. That's brewed at Two Roads in Connecticut. And back then, this beer was, I think, like 6.7% alcohol, and it was more of a New England IPA. Now they've taken it down to 5%, but on their website, they do tell you that it uses wheat and oats and it's dry hopped with Galaxy and Nelson. And they call it a slightly tart ale, so all those things combined makes it sound like it's a soft, juicy New England Pale Ale. I did have a little bit of this before, and I found it to be pretty dank. But let's dive in for a deeper look. It is quite fresh. It was canned May 7th, now it's the 23rd, so 2.5 weeks old. And I remember this being a little bit hazier also than their other cans they've been shipping down here, like Chinookered. Yeah, definitely some haze happening. Nice tiny bubbles though. And extremely pale, probably apart from the wheat and oats they use. Very nice looking head, just looks like a really high quality beer, nice refreshing pale beer. Some breweries would probably even call this like a blonde ale or like a hoppy blonde or something. And I don't know about the tartness they mentioned. It's definitely not a sour, but maybe they just use some acidulated malt or keep the pH get the pH a little bit lower. Yeah, it kind of helps knowing that it's Nelson and Galaxy hops, because those hops are definitely green. But it's not smelling like most Nelson beers and Galaxy beers that I have. It doesn't have the, jalapeno or eucalyptus I usually get from those hops. It's just like a light, spritzy, citrusy, but kind of black peppery thing going on. Not quite cough drops, which is a good thing. And not much tropical stuff going on. Maybe some like unripe pineapple. Very mild yeast esters. They're in there, but very clean in comparison to a lot of other hazy, hoppy beers I've been drinking where you can really notice the yeast. Nice feel for 5%. It's pretty soft. It's not the softest juice bomb thing out there, but I do like that feel. Really refreshing and really crisp, similar finish as the flavors. Yeah, lemon, lime. It's got a lot of Sprite flavor to it, honestly. And then some woodsy, mildly dank qualities are happening. Maybe a little mossy or something like that. Yeah, very nice feel. And right after you take a sip, it's like, has a bam of something that reminds me of old-fashioned IPAs and pale ales. I guess on the can they don't say they use those hops. I pretty much trust the website though. But if you're just giving me this and asked me to guess the hops, I may have even said something like Cascade or Centennial. It has that sort of spicy, citrusy quality. I guess there isn't exactly pine, just some kind of like woodsy, almost like light cologne element. And just on the edge of being too dry and bitter for me, this is a great one for the summertime if you want a bit more of a dank, biting, hazy pale that still is fruity. It's still a little bit soft, and from an extremely respected brewery. Like, they're not doing the haziest, juiciest things around, but not many breweries are doing this exact kind of beer. And oh yeah, the tartness might also be bringing out some bitterness too, because it is on the edge of that. Like if you just put a splash of some Berliner Weiss in this, it would seem like a dry hop Berliner Weiss. And if you like that style, you might also like this more. I'm really picky about my dry hop sour beers, but this one is good. I like just a teeny bit of tartness and lots of hop. Lots of fresh hoppiness. So this is probably a 4, depending on my mood, maybe 4.25. But very, very nice. I'd actually just call this like a Session New England IPA. That's the clearest name, I think, probably to give it, except for that tartness. But it's worth a shot. Goodbye.